Good afternoon. Welcome to the Dog Call. I'm your host, Armondo Black. You know, there are some fan bases that I can tolerate, and there are some fan bases that just go over the top and they're extra. And then you have the Tide fans. The Tide fans can be over the top. The Tide fans can be just impossible to deal with because they are entitled, they're spoiled, and they think that their team is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now, mind you, the Bama dynasty has been one of the best dynasties in in all of sports in the last 10 years. We cannot deny that. Okay. But this is 2024. This is a different year. This is a different team with a different coach, with a different coaching staff. And the Bama fans are still running their mouths like it's 2014. Now I can deal with that. Bama fans gonna be Bama fans. And I also respect that because they're gonna ride with their team until the wheels fall off. But one thing I just can't respect and can't understand some of these Georgia podcasters that you were talking totally different after the Clemson game. You're sounding like front runners. Oh, Georgia's going to win a national title. Georgia's going to go undefeated. Georgia's taking over. Georgia's taking over. Then we have one hiccup, one bad game for many reasons against Kentucky, and you're ready to jump off the bandwagon. You're getting on here and you're talking scared. I don't know if Georgia going to be able to do this, and I don't know if Georgia's going to be able to do that. Well, today I'm here to call out that crap. I'm going to speak on the Georgia Bama game in another video, but in this video, I'm going to call out this front running Debbie Downer crap from some of you Georgia podcasters. I'm Armondo Black, and this is the Dog Call. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am your host, Armondo Black. Salute, 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 salute. Salute to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. If you like the video, share it, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you haven't already hit that subscribe button. And make sure you click that notification bell so you can get all the notifications whenever I do a rant and reaction here on the Dog Call. Now, let me get into my story here. Um, Uncle Lou, listen, bro, you are the king of the college football rants. I give you that. You are You are the goat of the rants. You laid the foundation down for a lot of podcasters on YouTube. You've been doing this for 10 years. The rants were hilarious. Some of the things that you were saying back then were over the top, but you always came with common sense knowledge when it came to the game. All right. Now, as you grew, I see, a lot of other fan bases are mingling, coming in your chat, you're mingling with them or whatever. So I really don't know. And I really did not want to make this video. I really didn't, because I'm subbed up to you and I support your channel and I love your content. But I have to call you out, Lou. I have to call you out. Lately, you are starting to sound like David Pollock. And let me tell you why I say David Pollock. Because David Pollock flip-flops a lot. This guy flip-flops more than damn Mitt Romney. I feel like I'm watching a damn politician when I watch David Pollock. He's the same dude that a lot of people feel like the words he said at the halftime of the national championship game against TCU, when he sat there and told Nick Saban to his face that Georgia is taking over college football. All right. So you went from that to now you're doubting Kirby, you're doubting Georgia. You don't think that we're capable of winning every game on the schedule. Hell, you have your doubts about us making the playoffs. It sounds like you're kind of, and I hate to see Georgia alumni do this. I respect the hell out of David Pollock. You're a Hall of Famer, one of the great dogs of all time. They're talking about building this man a statue in Athens outside of Sanford Stadium. Okay. But you've been flip flopping on us. And I'm not even really, I wasn't really paying attention during the Mark Rick years, but during the Kirby Smart years, you flip flopped a lot. You were all on the bandwagon in 2017, and then in 2019, you just fell off. You were critiquing the team, and yeah, the loss to South Carolina, yeah, but you was very, 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 very hard. You weren't sounding like a Georgia fan on college game day during that year. Then in 2021, when things got better, you jumped back on the bandwagon. You see, when I think of a true Georgia Bulldog fan, I think about L. Duncan. I think about Maria Taylor. I think about those two right there, because they are ride or die no matter what the hell is going on with the team. Now, let's go to you. Let's go to you, Uncle Lou. Because you see, and I'm a fan. Let me just say this here real quick. I am a fan of yours, Uncle Lou. All right. Been in chat, called in a couple of times with you, and we spoke on some football. We talked some football. All right. And this is not just directed at you. This is not just directed at you. There are other uh, Georgia Bulldog podcasters that I want to speak to as well, that have been, they've been sounding differently lately. You're not the only one. That guy over there at Locked On Bulldogs, Daniel, I think that's his name, Daniel. Daniel, man, you sound like a damn Tide fan for real. You sound like a Tide fan for real. Now your co-host, ride or die Georgia Bulldog. I can't remember your co-host's name, but ride or die, I enjoy the guy. He's a ride or die Dogs fan. But you sound like a Tide fan, because it's almost damn near like, you know, hell, at one time I thought maybe you was ready to send Kalen DeBoer a Christmas gift. You was giving so many compliments to Bama and Kalen DeBoer, and Jalen Milroe. For what? For what? Uncle Lou, and you went on this whole 30-minute, prediction show, and it was great. Your points were valid until you got to the end and you started talking about you're going to base your decision off of the line play. You said Bama has gotten better on the O-line and has gotten better on the D-line. Where's the evidence of that? Based on what, sir? Based on what? That they blew out Western Kentucky? Based on what? That they finally got their crap together midway through the fourth quarter against South Florida, a very, very much inferior team? Based on what? The fact that they beat a soft, cream puff Wisconsin team that will probably lose somewhere between 4 to 5 games. They're not in the upper echelon of the Big Ten this year. So your prediction that Georgia is going to lose to Bama is based on what? Quarterback play? Jalen Milroe has not faced a defense like Clemson this year. Jalen Milroe has not faced a defense like Kentucky. Based on what? Running back play? Miller has not ran up against a defensive front like Clemson this year. Miller has not ran up against a defensive front like Kentucky this year. The only defensive front closest to the two teams that I just named that Jalen Milroe and Miller has ran up against is USF. So you are basically you're crowning them the better team because they beat up on inferior opponents that I know without a shadow of a doubt, if it would have been us playing Wisconsin, we would have hung 50 points on them easily. South Florida, we could have hung 40, maybe 50 points on South Florida. Nowhere near our level. So your prediction is based on what? You want to talk about line play? You want to talk about the Kentucky game? So you're basing it on the Kentucky game? So Kentucky had a couple of runs. They had a couple of runs where, we missed a few tackles. The weather was kind of bad that night. It was an off night. And it's no secret that they were looking ahead in that game. They weren't 100%. Our Dogs were nowhere near pumped for that game like we were for the Clemson game. You know it. I know it. Every Georgia fan knows it. But that's not an excuse. But see, what you failed to tell your audience is that Kentucky, not one time were they able to drive the ball deep in our territory. Not one time was Kentucky able to get past the 30-yard line. Their field goal kicker was kicking 50-yarders all night. That's the furthest. Why was their kicker kicking 50-yarders all night? You know why? Because that's the furthest as they could get, the 40, 45-yard line. They did not penetrate into our territory. They got nowhere near our goal line. No team has gotten in our red zone this year. No team. Clemson has not gotten in our red zone. The closest they got was maybe in the 20-yard line. Tennessee Tech got the closest, but it was on our third and fourth string. Practice squad. The practice squad of players were in the game. No team has gotten into the red zone on our starting defense. I hear you over there singing praises to Ryan Williams. Oh, Ryan Williams is a dynamic. You talk like the man is Randy Moss or Tyreek Hill or somebody. You're like he's unstoppable. Based on what, sir? Based on what? Based on Wisconsin's weak ass secondary? That's what you're crowning this man? It's the second coming of Randy Moss? Really? South Florida come on, man. Western Kentucky, they have not played anybody. They have not been tested. That offense has not been tested. If those were our three opponents this season, Carson Beck would be the front runner for the Heisman right now. Trade places with Bama. Trade schedules with Bama right now. Give Georgia Bama's first three opponents. And I promise you, Carson Beck will have Heisman type numbers. He would be the front runner right now. Because those three, their secondaries are weak. South Florida's their defensive scheme is pretty nice, but they don't have the talent up front to hold it up for 60 minutes. That's why Bama was able to break through in the fourth quarter. So this notion that they're unstoppable, that their offense is explosive, based on what, Uncle Lou? Based on what, sir? Ask yourself this question. And I know, I may be getting a little up under your skin, pissing you off a little bit. No harm intended. For real. This is respectfully, I got to ask you this. And ask yourself this question, honestly. Because I really do believe you made a knee-jerk reaction. You was watching Paul Feinbaum. You was watching First Take. You see, those people work for Disney. I don't take Disney, anything Disney related, seriously. I look at it as Hollywood, scripted. They are handed a script a couple of hours before showtime. You see, what me and you are doing here on YouTube is real. We're putting out real content. No one is putting words in our mouth. But what I think with you is you got caught up. You were watching Paul Feinbaum. I watched Paul Feinbaum too. You was a regular caller. I was a regular caller at one time. I had many conversations with Paul Feinbaum. Paul Feinbaum is like that flag that's flying in front of the Capitol building. He's going to sway wherever the wind is going. The beginning of the season, he was all Georgia this, Georgia that, Georgia this, Georgia, talking like we were the 01 Hurricanes, like we were invincible. And I told everybody, we were not invincible. We're not unbeatable. We can be beat. Now he's over there ready to, like, basically give a eulogy. Like our season is over. Hell, for a minute there, I thought you were going to include us in one of your season is over segments, which is very entertaining, my ad. What they don't mention is that Bama has not been tested. That offensive line has not been tested. They have not seen anything remotely close to what they're going to see Saturday night. They are going to be staring at the best defense in the nation, the best secondary in the nation. Ryan Williams have not seen a secondary in his football career, not just in the first 3 games, but I'm taking it all the way back to high school. This young man, this 17-year-old kid, is going to be going up against some NFL talent. Stars. He's going to be going up against some NFL talented players in the secondary. We had some players out in that Kentucky game. That's something else they don't mention. No Jordan Hall, no Mekhi Williams, no Warren Brinson. From what I'm hearing, word on the street, Brinson will be back. Mekhi Williams will be back. Now, I don't know how healthy they'll be, but their presence is going to be felt because this means a lot to those men, especially Warren Brinson, that decided to come back for his senior year. He could have easily left last year and been a first rounder, but he decided to come back. He wanted to come back for the ring. And that Bama secondary that was just put together through the transfer portal and a couple of freshmen. These guys have not seen anything like what they're going to see Saturday night. They have not seen a quarterback like Carson Beck. Let's do the tail of the tape. Western Kentucky, ranked in the hundreds in passing yards. South Florida don't even pass the ball. All they do is run. And when it comes to Wisconsin, they did not see Van Dyke. Van Dyke got hurt on the first offensive play in their first series. The backup, hell, he can't throw a football on the side of a barn. Wisconsin was pretty much from that point on, Wisconsin was pretty much in the same situation that South Carolina was in against LSU a couple of weeks ago. Stuck with a quarterback that only he can do is game manage and maybe give you a couple of yards on the ground, but can't complete a pass to save his life down the field. That's what that secondary has faced this year. And you are crowning them the greatest thing since sliced bread? Now I can understand if it was Texas, because Texas is proven. They went into Ann Arbor and took care of business against the defending national champion Michigan team. And we found out this past weekend that Michigan is legit. And they have a legit defense because they shut down a Trojans offense that put it on LSU in the season opener. So we know Texas is legit. They are proven. They are battle tested. We know Tennessee is for real. They are proven. They are battle tested. They went in Norman on a Saturday night and did what they had to do against Oklahoma. Now, if it would have been one of those two teams, I give you the benefit of the doubt, Uncle Lou. But Bama is not proven. So all of that over there that you were over there saying in your prediction show, it sounds good. It sounds good. But in real life, you and not even the Tide fans really know what they're working with. They don't know what they're working with because they have not played a legitimate opponent. Kirby knows what we're working with. He knows what we can do when we are going up against a legitimate defense. and what adjustments. And when you know what you're working with, you know what adjustments you can make during the bye week. These Bama kids that's on that team, they've been getting pats on the head, slaps on the back, pats on the butt. They've been in the media getting pumped up. They pumping their head up. You got fans up there in Bama, up there in Tuscaloosa saying, Saban who? Saban who? Like it's a Bama thing. It wasn't a Nick Saban thing. We would have won them titles regardless. That's how they are feeling because the media is pumping them up to feel that way. You got the Stephen A. Smiths that don't know a damn thing about college football. He's a front runner. And the only reason why he's screaming Roll Tide on First Take is because Nick Saban allowed him to come and speak at the University of Alabama and make a little money on the side. Allegedly. And that's it. Other than that, he don't know he never watched college football. He's from New York. He's from freaking damn Queens, New York. People from the inner city of New York, man, they are into basketball, baseball. And if they do watch football, it's NFL. The Giants or the Jets. They don't watch college football. That's a Southern thing. A Midwest, South, Southwest, West Coast thing. Up in the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, they ain't into college football like that. So I don't take what he says seriously. He's a front runner. You know a little bit about the NFL, but when it comes to college football, man, all that Roll Tide, man, you only doing that because you were allowed to come speak at the University of Alabama. That's it. That's the only reason why. But Lou, you should know better than that. You should know that all of those people that you watch and listen to on ESPN, they are scripted to say those things. When they get behind closed doors or at home at the dinner table, whatever, they probably say, man, Georgia gonna take care of business Saturday. It's a reason why Vegas has Georgia favored. Have you ever thought about, have any of you ever thought about that? All of you that are sitting there, Bama's gonna do this, Bama gonna do that. Have any of you thought about why Vegas has not budged? Vegas has not budged. Injury report or no injury report, Vegas has not budged. You know why? Because Vegas remembers what the hell happened in that national championship game. When Kalen DeBoer, the same man that a lot of you trying to put up on a pedestal, when Kalen DeBoer went face to face with a proven, seasoned, veteran head coach, Jim Harbaugh. You see, Sarkisian still, he's still considered a rookie as far as head coach. He ain't been there but a couple of years at Texas. But Jim Harbaugh is a seasoned vet head coach. The same man that rebuilt the 49ers and took them to the Super Bowl should have won it, in my opinion. Based off a no call on Michael Crabtree, but that's neither here or there. Should have won that game. He should have a Super Bowl ring and a national championship ring. But that's neither here or there. Everybody, I even heard Josh Pate. Josh Pate, I'm a fan. 24/7 Sports. He went back and did the same thing you did, Lou. Went back and forth, gave reasons why Bama's going to win, reasons why Georgia was going to win, valid reasons. Then when it came down to making your decision, I don't have a problem with it, but all of you are giving the same. It's like you're nitpicking for something, and you're reaching and nitpicking for something to give Bama the edge in your predictions, and it's making no sense. His reason is, I went up to Seattle and I watched DeBoer coach against Dan Lanning and beat Dan Lanning twice. And your point, Dan Lanning is in what, year 2 or 3 at Oregon? He's not a proven head coach. He never won a Pac-12 title. He was a great defensive coordinator. The last time he won something, he was in Athens, coaching under Kirby. So Dan Lanning is not yet a proven head coach. Not yet. He got to earn his medals and earn his stripes. So Josh Pate, your point is not valid. Dan Lanning is nowhere near the level of Kirby Smart. He's not Kirby Smart. He coached under Kirby Smart, and he's not nowhere near close to Kirby Smart. No. Are you kidding me? I could see if you would have named Ryan Day or Dabo. Those are the only two right now, in my opinion, that's anywhere near close when it comes to experience and winning on that level. Those two names come to mind. So my point is, Lou, based on what? Based on what? I hope I'm wrong, but I just got to go with the title. Based on what? Who the hell have they played? What, you know what I think you're basing it on? What happened in Atlanta last year? What happened in Atlanta? That Bama, and let me tell you and all of you that are picking Bama, that ain't the same Bama team that walked off that field in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That ain't the same Bama team that should have won the Rose Bowl against Michigan. That's not the same Bama team. Isaiah Bond ain't walking through that door. Jermaine Burton ain't walking through that door. Nick Saban ain't walking through that door. Dallas Turner ain't walking through that door. Will Anderson ain't walking through that door. None of them guys are walking through that door. Caleb Downs ain't walking through that door. That is a different Bama team than what we saw in that Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now, the problem is Bama fans are teasing themselves into believing that they're the same team that beat us in December. And the harsh reality that they're going to find out Saturday night is that is not the same team. That is not the same head coach, and that is not the same coaching staff. Nowhere near it. Hell, some of the staff is over here in Athens. So this week and last week, Bama fans and them Bama players, they've been doing more talking and hype talk. You know what our boys in Athens been doing? Back in the trenches. Blood, sweat, and tears. Malachi Starks, they asked him, how do you feel about that comment? And I'm going to address that in my next video. How do you feel about that comment that Jalen Miro made about our team quitting in Atlanta last year. And that young man said, we're going to do our talking on the field. Kirby said something this morning in his morning press conference about Bloody Tuesday. And for those of you that don't know about Bloody Tuesday is the toughest practice day of the week for our dogs. That is a practice designed specifically to separate the men from the boys. And Kirby said something that I never heard him say. He said them guys were going so hard in practice. He had to tell them, settle down. So he had to hold them back yesterday. That's how serious this thing is. Them guys, we have a lot of guys that was on that field in December. We have a lot of guys on our squad that was in that Mercedes-Benz Stadium. More than Bama. The coaching staff, everybody. The quarterback, the starting quarterback, everybody. That felt that pain of walking out of that Mercedes-Benz Stadium without that SEC title and losing the chance to defend our crown. They think about that day and night. And you honestly think that an unproven coach from the Pacific Northwest is going to come down here? I don't give a damn if the game is being played in Nick Saban's front yard, backyard, or wherever. It don't matter if the game is being played in Tuscaloosa, because they can be beaten in Tuscaloosa. Even during the Saban dynasty, they've gotten their tails whooped in Tuscaloosa several times. They're not unbeatable there. Ask yourself this question, Kalu. That secondary, have they seen any quarterback with the skills of Carson Beck this season? If you think about it, I think your answer would be no. What elite quarterback has Kalen DeBoer beat in his career? I'll wait. See, we're going to talk here. We're going to talk some football. This ain't ESPN. This ain't no Disney script. We're going to talk some football. You want to talk some football? Please tell me, Josh Pate, since you want to crown and put Kalen DeBoer up on a pedestal, what elite quarterback has this man coached against and beaten? And don't say Bo Nix, because we all know he's not elite. He's a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's not elite. Kirby has. Kirby, and all of you are talking about Jalen Miro this, Jalen Miro that, Kirby. You know what? Kirby has coached against some of the most elite quarterbacks. Name them. Do I need to name them? Baker Mayfield. Kyle Trask, Joe Burrow, J.J. McCarthy, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. You see, experience is a good teacher. And there's nothing like a coach that has done it on that level, on the big stage. Now, the national championship game was a big stage. and Kalen DeBoer did not get the job done. You see, that's what you didn't mention today, Josh Pate. The Oregon game, Washington has had Oregon's number. You failed to mention that to your audience. Washington has had Oregon's number for the last 2-3 years, even when the other coach was there. That's a conference game. The Pac-12 was nowhere near on the level of the SEC. This right here, next to the national championship game, this is going to be probably the second biggest stage that this man has ever coached in his coaching career. In Tuscaloosa, Saturday night. Now, the last time he was on a big stage, when all eyes was on him, and the bright lights was on, couldn't get the job done against Jim Harbaugh. Kirby beat Jim Harbaugh head to head in that same setting in a playoff game as an underdog, might I add. So what makes any of you think that this man is just going to ride in on a white horse from the Pacific Northwest and come down here and outcoach the king of the South, Kirby Smart? Now, Uncle Lou, I'm not questioning your fandomhood. I'm not questioning it at all. I'm just stating the fact. You're sounding like a Tide fan. You're sounding like a delusional Tide fan. You're saying Bama got better in the trenches. How do any of us know? They have not been tested. You're saying Bama got better on the defensive line. How the hell do we know? They have not faced a legitimate offensive line. That offensive line of Wisconsin is soft. They're nowhere near on the level that they were on back in 2017 when Hornibrook and Hornibrook was there. Nowhere near the level. They had an O-line then, but this is not that Wisconsin team. So you take Bama's best opponent and you match him up against Clemson. You tell me what would happen. Clemson would beat them by 3 touchdowns, 3 or more touchdowns. You take their second best opponent, South Florida, and put them up against Kentucky. Kentucky is winning that game easily by 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, because South Florida would not be able to run on Kentucky's defense. That I do know. So I say that to say this, Uncle Lou. For that knee-jerk reaction and that asinine prediction that you made, I officially have to put you in the doghouse. Because, sir, pound for pound, player for player, roster for roster, coaching staff for coaching staff, head coach for head coach, Georgia is a step above Bama. You may not believe it. Those delusional Tide fans may not believe it. But I believe it because I pay attention to details. And the eye test don't lie. You see, our dogs have been battle tested. Bama has not been battle tested. There are players on that team are going to see some things Saturday night that they've never seen in their football career, their entire football career. That's something that a lot of you sportscasters are not mentioning. And on that note, I want to thank all of you for coming out. I will be dropping another video tomorrow, making my prediction. I just wanted to, This was like a family thing. Uncle Lou is a Georgia diehard, born and raised in South Georgia, UGA fan, and so am I. I'm born a UGA fan, red, white, black for life, dog fans for life. But I just wanted to have a conversation with them. And I just wanted to ask the question. You made a prediction, and you're free to make that prediction. I know, I'm aware that's not the first time that you picked against Georgia. And like I said, if it would have been Texas, I wouldn't have been upset. I wouldn't have felt no type of way about it. If it was Tennessee, I wouldn't have felt no type of way about it. You know why? Because those teams have been tested. They have played some legitimate opponents. So I could understand you picking those two to beat Georgia. But this Bama team has not been tested. They have not been tested. We don't know if that O-line has improved. We know it looked good against Western Kentucky. It looked good against, hell, it didn't really look good against South Florida. It looked average against South Florida. It didn't look all that great against Wisconsin. I think it was more about Wisconsin was just that bad. So thank you all for coming out. Those are my thoughts and my opinion. And always, no matter what, it's always go Dogs. Everyone, thank you all for coming out, listening to me. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. For those of you that haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Armondo Black. Hey, we got a tropical storm coming in the state this weekend. Y'all please be safe. It's been raining cats and dogs all day today. Y'all be safe. Don't go out anywhere unless you have to. All right, please, if you're on your way home for work, please get home, drive careful, and get home safe. God bless you all. Love you all. I'm Armondo Black. Peace and blessings. Take care of yourselves and each other. And one last thing. Go Dogs. Sick 'em. Woo, woo, woo.